Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit boring, but something that is of interest to a lot of people, and that is paperwork. Ta-da! Working with foreign governments means that you have to exchange documents. So what I was going to ask you today is, what kind of documents do people need to provide to prove their German heritage if they're pursuing their German citizenship? And we know that there is different pathways, so perhaps documents are different depending on under which section of the laws you qualify. But could you take us just briefly through what you might need if I'm an applicant, what would I need to give you?
So the main thing, the first thing is probably that you have to prove your German heritage to the government, to the German government, which is mainly on the target. We call it the target ancestor, that person that left Germany. So let's just say it's your great grandfather. You would need to prove that he was a German citizen, and you could do that by a birth certificate, his birth certificate, residential records, an expired passport. We always call that the golden ticket.
Oh, okay.
It kind of is. It's a proof that you are German, because only German citizens received a passport.
Of course, yeah.
So that's always great, well worth asking and look in every shoebox you might have in your basement
and people do have boxes, yes, and drawers, and
yes, there is the funniest way how you can find something. So that's always worth having a look and really get into contact with anybody, great auntie that might have something of your ancestors. So that's the first start, and then it sort of it travels through the lineage then to you, so that we call that vital records. So once you have everything for your ancestor, then it goes into the country most likely that they immigrated to, so which is most likely the country you're still in as a client. Birth certificates for the next generation, marriage certificates, all this till it comes down to you. And same thing for yourself, your birth certificate, your passport, anything that's out of like divorce papers, name changes, so that you sort of have a complete line that proves that you're really a descendant of this target ancestor.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So it's sort of like two types of documents, I guess. One is to show who you are in relation to your direct ancestors that are from Germany. So sometimes it's a journey through generations, because we might need to go back to your grandparents or great-grandparents or whatever. And the other type of documents will be the heritage documents, as we call them, proving that somebody was German or persecuted or whatever the case may be. And that bit is a little bit discretionary, right? Because different people have different documents, people's histories were different and stories were different. So there's a little bit of discretion what that looks like, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we have a lot of people that inquire and they have nothing, right? So which is really not an overly huge problem, because we do offer research in Germany and we are quite successful with it.
Yes.
I mean, there is things that got destroyed in World War II, but Germany keeps quite a good records and archives. And yeah, so if you are eligible, but it's the missing piece is evidence and certificates from the German heritage, then we can definitely help with research in that category, and yeah, to make sure that the future application is successful.
So essentially there's I just wanted to pick up on a couple of points. One is there's a bit of a myth that everything got destroyed during the war. That's just not true. Like, in fact, most records are there. And it's very rare that we don't find something on someone. Like, it would have to be mistaken identity or like really no information whatsoever. And the other issue, I guess, is that if people don't have documents, we can help them find it, because we know where documents sit. There's several archives. And also German authorities are quite responsive. Like, some things take a while, but they're really well organized, and, yeah. Without sounding corny, Germans are well known for being organized. So if you do have German heritage, it's really worth pursuing, even if you have very little to start off with.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, some places are quicker, some take a bit longer, like bigger cities, Berlin, there's so many different registered councils. And this is, I think, we help the most because we do know obviously where we have to send our requests to, rather than people always get stuck. You know, we might not speak German very well. It's hard to then just send emails to all the different registry offices in Germany to inquire, for example, a birth certificate, while you know, we do that on a daily basis. Obviously, it's a bit easier for us and quicker.
Yeah, and we have pretty good relationships with the archives and other institutions there, so we might be able to cut out weeks, if not months, of you know, those inquiries, and also we reach out to institutions. So if people's families were displaced, I think it's between 1933 and 1950.
45. Yeah.
There is an archive in Germany that holds everybody's displaced people's records in Europe. So it would be worth also pursuing that, because sometimes what we have to do is get one document, read it, analyze it, and then it allows us to continue on to the next step. And you know, it sounds easy, but it's not, because at the time, you know, people's records were all over the place, essentially, because there was a war on, and all of that. We know that from history. But you know, by all means, the more people come to us with, the better for everybody, because it influences the timelines, the price, and all of that. But if people have nothing, it doesn't mean that we can't get them citizenship, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you might have that that passport, and so we just would need maybe the birth certificate to strengthen that, you know, because that's what we want, essentially, that you have the best chance before we even go to that applications status, that we submit your application. So we're always very honest there and say, look, it would be good to maybe get this additional document just to be absolutely sure. Yeah, because it won't, you know, it won't be nice for the client to wait longer, and that's not what we do. We're always pretty honest and you know,
transparent.
Transparent, exactly what you can do to strengthen the application process.
Yeah, and of course, sometimes we might need to turn people away, and you know, they get very disappointed. But like, I think it is better to limit the risk of somebody, you know, spending a lot of time and a lot of money on something that's not able to be pursued. So I think, you know, as much as we want to, sometimes we can't help people, but we'll tell them up front so that they don't get involved in something that's a sort of wild goose chase.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think, just lastly, Marina, we do have 100% success rate with this German citizenship. So whichever pathway you follow, we are very diligent. So from the very beginning, if you entrust your case to Marina, she will manage it to the point where we will clearly and transparently tell you if there is a case or not. And we will also give you a proposal with a quote and a price and all of that. So I would strongly encourage people to get in contact with Marina or one of her colleagues, so that you can get a clear picture of your eligibility and also what types of documents you would need to get if you were to go through this process.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah, give it a go.
Okay, well, thanks heaps.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.